Hello there, good evening, and welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. My name is Robert K. Sakos, and thank you for tuning in from wherever it is that you're watching this from. Thank you for taking the time. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Well, it's a very wonderful week here in Uganda, which came with exciting news that we'll see Uganda host the Africa Cup of Nations together with Kenya and Tanzania. That's AFCON 2027. So it's big news that we will be discussing today on the Football Tribe, that and more in today's discussion. So yesterday it was revealed that Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania, who made a joint Pamoja bid to host AFCON 2027, had won that bid to host Africa's most prestigious tournament. It has been exciting news across the three East African nations from all corners of the nations, from top leaders to local people. However, it is not to say that the news has not been met with its fair share of doubt when it comes to speaking matters of infrastructure and general capacity in hosting the African tournament. But before we get into all that, remember, the Africa Cup of Nations returns next year in between Jan 14th up to February 11th and will be played in Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast are the hosts of the AFCON 2023 tournament, although it will be played in 2024. Remember all that disruption that was caused by COVID-19 leading to the 2021 edition being played in 2022 in Cameroon, with Senegal winning that edition. So the 2023 edition will be played next year in January. The draws are slated for October 12th in the Ivory Coast city of Abidjan. So look out for that. That will be coming your way. And Morocco did win the bid to host the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Now remember, Morocco won the 2025 bid after it was stripped off Guinea due to concerns of infrastructure and facilities. So Morocco did win this bid. So the three East African nations will be concerned that it is possible for them to be stripped of their rights to host the tournament should they fail to meet their infrastructure and facilities obligations there. Then remember also, Morocco is in a joint bid along with Spain and Portugal to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup. So they were given the opportunity to host the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, which is a big chance for them to showcase their capabilities in terms of infrastructure, in terms of hospitality, in terms of facilities, and everything that comes with hosting such a big tournament. So they will make their case come 2025 there, but as far as the 2027 edition is concerned, it will be hosted in Uganda's capital Kampala, in Kenya's capital Nairobi, and in Tanzania there Dodoma. So so the three East African nations did jointly bid to host the tournament. Now I remember when a news first broke that the respective football federations in those countries had requested their governments to put in a bid. FIFA had a delegation meet the Ugandan president, that is President Yoweri Museveni, as well as their Kenyan counterparts and their Tanzanian counterparts respectively, and once their top leaders agreed to the suggestion, the three footballing nations went ahead to make a joint bid called Pamoja with CAF there, and they did win that bid. So big news. However, what does it mean for the three nations, and maybe more particularly in Uganda? First of all, it means investment in sport, in football in particular. It means opportunities in business. It means opportunities in the tourism industry for all the three East African nations. But like I said, it has been met with huge concerns. As exhilarating as the news has been, it has been met with huge concerns when it comes to the capacity and capability to host a tournament of that stature. Remember, Uganda's neighbors, Rwanda, had the chance to host the 2016 CHAN tournament. Uganda has never hosted that. Now, this is their first major tournament that they will be hosting on Africa's football scene that involves, many nations. So, when you look at the infrastructure in terms of stadiums, Uganda has hosted its last two games away from home, one in Cameroon and one in Egypt, because its own stadiums failed to meet the requirements of CAF. So it raises big concerns there. However, Uganda's national stadium, that is a Nambole Stadium, is under renovation. That work is ongoing. There is the construction that is being completed of Nakivubo Stadium, although I do not think that one has the standards to host such games of that caliber due to where it is situated and all surroundings around it. Stadium investor there, Hamis Chigundu, did mention that it had been approved by CAF to host the AFCON tournament games, but I do not think that is the case. Maybe it was approved to host, trainings and all that. I do not think it is well situated that it has all the requirements to host games of that caliber. So then that leaves the other stadium being St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende, but that, remember, was denied to be used as Uganda's home, host stadium because it didn't have paved roads. So that I remember that was one of the sticking points in that refusal. That's how Uganda ended up hosting its home games in Egypt and in Cameroon. So, but I think when it comes to the votes I think Dr. Lawrence Mulingwa will be glad that maybe by the time we get to 2027, government would have, agreed to work on the road leading to St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende. But all the three governments involved have a lot of work to do in terms of building capacity, in terms of setting up the required infrastructure, that is the stadiums, the road networks, the security, the looking at accommodation across, in terms that can host different teams and all that, all the guests, journalists, and people of that kind. So, in Tanzania, we've learned again today that President Samia Suluhu has already ordered for the construction of two world-class stadiums in the cities of Dodoma and Arusha there. So, to add on to what they already have, the Taifa Stars are the only East African nation that did qualify for the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations finals. So, they will be representing us. Okay, so anyway, I must give it to the respective leaderships of the footballing federations in Tanzania, Kenya, and in Uganda, but more particularly for all the disagreements or our sticking points that we have with current FIFA president, Engineer Moses Magogo. We'll give it up to him that he is indeed a lucky man and he does know how to get himself in key positions or on tables with influential people, because this is big for him. It is a great achievement for him. For everything that has failed in terms of grassroots football development in this country, for everything that has not beared fruit in terms of the quality of football that is being played on the pitch, we will give it to him for everything that has gone right off the pitch. So you look at FIFA TV, FIFA radio, the improvement in ladies football in the country and all those things. Perhaps credit that for the qualification of the AFCON 2019 edition and all those things. So a lot of work needs to be done. That also takes us to the national team, the Uganda Cranes. Currently, they are without a coach after Federation of Uganda Football Associations and FIFA did agree to part ways with Serbian international Milutin Micho Sredojovic there to cut ties with the gentleman there. He is no longer the Cranes national team and they are without a coach at this point in time. Applicants were called and it is reported that among the hundreds that did apply for 4 vacant positions with the national team, 10 were Ugandans. So we await to see who will take on that mantle. But whoever takes on that role as the national team coach will be under enormous pressure to achieve, because Uganda will need to build a team with their eyes set on that 2027 AFCON tournament. You wouldn't want to host the tournament and then bow out at the earliest point possible. So, but leading to 2027, there are major tournaments like AFCON 2025 that will be in Morocco. So you have to build a team, you have to qualify for that edition, and then qualify for the FIFA World Cup, possibly. That is will be played in the USA. That is the FIFA World Cup 2026. Before then, because if you qualify for those two respective, tournaments, then it helps you build that team that is strong enough to compete at the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. One of the key personalities in Uganda, that is Captain Mike Mukula, has called upon the three nations to field one team when that tournament comes, that is in 2027. But as good as a suggestion that is, I do not think it will come to bear fruit to all these three nations. I think a little too proud, although they were able to jointly bid for hosting of the tournament. I do not think they have it in them to take it as far as fielding the joint team as, let's say, the East African team. I do not think it will go that far. But if it were to be the case, it will be a good idea to showcase that solidarity. So I do think it is great news, really, really great news. Gives Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania, but more importantly Uganda, to work on their infrastructure in terms of as far as football is concerned, because this will require stadiums that can host the games. It will require world-class footballing training grounds that can host teams as they train in preparation for their games. It will require an enormous investment in the road network of Kampala itself. We already have the Kampala Ginger Express Highway, Kampala flyover already. Those projects are already ongoing. But when it comes to the Kampala metropolitan region and slightly beyond, enormous work will have to be put in to make sure the roads are well paved and all that. So Ugandans will benefit. It will benefit the country both economically and politically in terms of their image. In recent times, the country's image has sort of been met with all sorts of bad press that has for things that have not gone well, especially in the political arena, in the human rights arena, and all those things. But I think this gives Uganda the opportunity to set themselves back on that foot. Never mind that it is also a highly dependent in a way in terms of how their reputation is perceived by the result or by what will happen leading to the 2026 polls there. So quite a number of factors in there, but I do think it is great news to be proud of. It is a big win for FUFA President Engineer Moses Magoga and his team, Justice Mugisha, Edgar Watson, and all those people that keep working hard every day at the Federation of Uganda Football Associations. My friend Mulekezi Regan, aka Eto, who works with the FUFA media there. So all those people, whoever has put, laid a stone in that pit, the deputy speaker has been highlighted. That is Thomas Taibwa, the state minister for sports, that is Mr. Ogwang, and all those that came before him that had, put their mind to this whole joint bid and all that. It is a great achievement. So we await to see what Uganda will do at that scene. We await to see how all the three nations will prepare themselves for to host that huge tournament. So, but as far as the 2024 edition is concerned, these were the final teams that qualified for the tournament. that will be played in Ivory Coast. We have Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Cameroon, Namibia, Egypt, Guinea, Ghana, Angola, Algeria, Tanzania, Mali, Gambia, Zambia, Ivory Coast, DRC Congo, Mauritania, Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea, South Africa, Morocco, Senegal, and Mozambique. Those will be the teams that will play at the Africa Cup of Nations 2024. So that's it from the news on the African continent. So thank you for taking the time. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel so that we can keep growing.